Hi, everyone. Here we are on another Monday. Come on in, say hi. As I'm getting the cards shuffled. Hi, Edna. Hi. Sorry. There we go. We're on a Monday, family day. Some of you may have had it off. Some of you may not. Hope you had a good Monday. Either way. Either way. Hello. Come on in. I'm excited to see what we have in store. If you're new, hi, I'm Angela. I am a medium from Atlantic, Canada. I pop on every week for the past 8 years almost, doing a weekly guidance. We recently shifted from a Sunday night to a Monday evening. The guides never disappoint. They're always here. They're always showing up to help us, give us guidance as we move forward the next 7 days. Replay can be found here on Facebook as well as my YouTube channel. So come on, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I feel like Spirit is jumping at the bit to get into these cards. So let's hop right into it. Again, this reading is for February 17th through to the 23rd. There seems to be this type of energy coming in where we're wanting to do what's right. It's really hyper focused on relationships. I would be surprised if relationships have not been in the forefront of your mind, because they seem to be popping up every time we turn around, whether this is romantic connections, whether this is family connections. Boundaries are always a strong point when we're talking about relationships, but really what seems to be the message that's coming in is taking that awareness and going within and asking yourself, how is this relationship serving me? How am I showing up in it? Always wanting to have that self-awareness and that responsibilities for the part that we play, but also how is this showing up for you? Is it building you up? Is it supporting you in this life? Or is it a point of hurt or a point of stress? And so there's almost this needing to kind of take inventory. Now, we've talked a lot about, since the turn of the year, with living with more intention, right? Having more intention, making sure that we are purposefully making decisions and being purposeful with how we are spending our money, spending our time, spending our emotions. And this is really coming in for that sense around relationships. Now, all relationships kind of ebb and flow, right? Anybody who's been in a relationship for any, amount of time knows that there's times when we're on and there's times when we're off. And no matter what relationship that you are reflecting on, you are both individual souls. And this is something as humans that I see that we struggle with, where we're trying to have them behave or have them experience what we want for them, right? But in truth, whether this is your partners, your parents, your children, the stranger at the grocery store, everyone is their own individual soul with their own individual life lessons and their own individual triumphs and their own individual struggles, right? And so it is important to kind of remember that no one outside of us is an extension of us, including our children. And this is so hard, right? Because we are all our own individual souls. And if you look at your life and you look at reflecting everything that you have been through and all the ups and downs, like, that's their path too, different details. Every soul has come here with the contract to live, and to learn, and to experience, right? And so there is this kind of sense of needing to take your identity out of it and just ask yourself, if how is this serving you? How are you showing up in it? Are you feeling loved and supported? Are you being loving and supporting? Right? And the way that Spirit has taught me is, if this relationship is of value to you, then have the uncomfortable conversations. Have the vulnerable dialogue. If it is not, then we can simply allow it to, fade away and to continue your path. It can be very frustrating, especially if you are someone who is self-aware, someone who is on a spiritual path, because not just because they're your friends and your family and your inner circle does not mean that they are too. And it certainly does not mean that you're on the same timeline, right? And so it's really kind of hard, because we want what would be more comfortable if they just learned with us and they just did with us and they just came with us. Then we're not fighting it, or they're not fighting on us energetically. What Spirit has taught me is give them permission too. You can either grow with me, or you can catch up later, but I have to keep going. I have to keep moving forward, right? And so we never want their choices to hold us in contempt, because that's where resentment comes in. And so it's not saying I'm leaving you in the dust. It's not saying that I think I'm better than you. It is simply saying I have to honor my authentic path. I hope you do too. And I hope that it keeps us in alignment moving forward, right? And I think that that's going to be something that's interesting, at how there is such a shift within relationships, okay? There's also new beginnings coming in this week. There's almost this enlightenment, this kind of snapping of the finger, this kind of click. So like epiphany, solutions, guidance, directions. I know today's daily card, if you caught it, has talked about how we're kind of just in this limbo, where we're in this kind of unfamiliar territory. And because we have shifted, and because the energy has changed, we're not so goal oriented right now, right? And so by not having a certain goal to work towards, may make us feel like we are just merely existing. But the truth is that you are exactly where you need to be. It's right around the corner. It's happening. Whether you feel like you're moving forward or not, you are, right? There's progress that is not being met by the eye right now. And if you want to try to measure it, if you want to kind of see where this is coming up for you, I would urge you to reflect on how you are handling certain situations in current space, right? There's almost this awareness of, oh my gosh, like I used to be so much more hard on myself, or I had a lot of anxiety, or really hated placing boundaries. And now I'm placing boundaries. Now I'm unapologetically allowing my body to rest instead of criticizing it for needing rest. I am no longer speaking to myself in this very critical way. Hold more compassion for myself. You may also find yourself steering away from the drama, not wanting to get into other people's stuff, kind of learning the lesson that they're going to do what they're going to do, right? Regardless of how amazing your advice is or how much sleep you've lost about their topics, they're still going to do what their path is, right? And so as you kind of navigate certain situations and certain experiences, you may notice, oh, geez, yeah, you know what? That isn't bothering me as much as it used to. Or I'm holding more love and compassion for myself as I navigate some of these changes. This is where you're going to see your growth. Okay, this is where you're going. Us as humans, we're still very wanting that physical representation. I want the physical changes, right? I want to be able to see the tangible. But what have spirits been teaching us hardcore over the last 5 to 8 years, right? That there's more to life than what meets the eye, that what you feel matters, that your intuition is very strong and very on point, bit by bit, inching away from that self-doubt. And so there is a lot of great strides that you have already taken that's allowing you to have more of this peaceful space, but there is a tangible physical change. Okay. And so this is coming in as something in your everyday life. So this can be relationship change, job change, financial change that and health change. That seems to be it. And I want to say relationship change is relationships changing. The roles that we play may change. So this can come in as title changes as well. Okay. And so this is coming in with that reflection. And again, urging you to take notice how if this experience would have come 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you would not be handling it the way that you are in present. That's the growth. That's the progress. You may not see it in physical forms, but you have been growing enormously as a human, as a soul. And that's what needs to be focused on. That's going to be what you need to keep coming back to in all of 2025. Even though, yes, there is those tangible changes that we have been waiting for, there's still the largest strides are within the person that you are, right? And so keep that in mind as you are navigating these changes, okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have enough patience for how slow shit is coming this year. It's coming, it's on its way, but you have to have patience. And so instead of hyper focusing on the external, you have to stay focused on the internal. The external is coming, okay? They're also, I don't know what that means, but they just said, say bye to your money this week. So whether this means that this is a job change, this could be an unexpected bill, this can be something along those lines where there's a little bit of extra money going out, right? First thing that came to my mind is I go, oh yeah, I got that doozy of a power bill coming out tomorrow night. So there is something that's coming in that's a little bit more this month, right? A little bit more, this week where we're kind of giving more. And it is, look, there it's walking out. So there is this feeling of needing to just kind of give yourself this regulation, right? And sometimes we win some, sometimes we lose some. It does feel like it stings a little bit, but it's not devastating. It's not taking the legs out from under you. So try to find the silver lining with that, okay? There's also this need, and I know that I said it, and I'm going to say it again over and over. I just wrote a check for a heat pump. There you go. Be extremely mindful with the media that you are consuming, with the conversations that you are consuming, okay? Because there's still very much this spiral energy, and I am very well aware of all the crazy shit that is happening in the world right now, that you putting yourself in that energy doesn't help anything. You putting in feeling empathy, sending love, sending prayers, absolutely helpful. Worrying, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, suffering alongside of them doesn't change a lick for them and doesn't change a lick for you, right? And so there's almost this, we need to be very black and white, protecting our energy, okay? What we're allowing into our life experience and the energy that we're bringing in. If you are already entering a conversation and all of a sudden it comes down, and everyone's just kind of like, ugh, like, you know, you may be the problem here, right? We have to be mindful of the energy that we are bringing in. And if we are being squirrely in spiraling with it, and what are we taking, what other casualties are coming into our spiral? It is essential. And I think that we are better fitted for it now than earlier. Again, this is something that Spirit has just circled me back to the beginning. Remember when we said these huge life lessons, these experiences that if this would have happened 5-8 years ago, we would have handled it completely different. And we did. Right? Now we know how to protect our peace. Now we know how to create a peaceful, loving energy for us. It is not denial. It is not selfish. It is not self-centered. It is literally what mass consciousness needs, right? The more that we hold light and love, the more everyone benefits from that. If we're all hopping onto the spiral and we are as a mass consciousness, well, then everything's in uproar and it starts to come off the rails even more. And so it is so beneficial. But still have your emotions. I'm not saying, I don't believe in toxic positivity. I believe that we have to feel what we need to feel, and sometimes it ain't pretty, right? It's not toxic positivity. It is being mindful of the parts that you are playing, because a lot of us who are not actually involved are putting ourselves in this, and it is not helping on an energy level, right? There is this need to hold the energy high so that we can help lift others. And it's by saying prayers instead of fear, right? If we want to focus on it, we must focus on it in a loving way, sending prayers, sending energy, that type of thing. Because this focusing on the negative is only going to manifest more negative in your life, okay? Focusing on love is what is most important here. There's the sun card. It says a time of great joy and success, brilliant epiphanies that lead to magical opportunities, plans that work out perfectly. Okay. And so there are wins every week. We're having little moments of joy, little good news, little compliments, pat on the backs, loving experiences. Let's focus on that. Okay, because they're there and they're around you. And I think that's going to be so important as we continue forward, because what did Spirit already say in this recording? Nothing is happening fast enough for our liking, which if we're going to stay in patience, that's just festering energy, right? We want to trust that everything is happening as it should, even if we don't agree with it. It's happening because it's meant to happen. What needs to come in will come in. The helpers and the lovers are always there. Let's find them. Let's focus on them. Okay? Because there is a lot of good that's around you. There's a lot of blessings that you have on a day-to-day life. And it is important that we get back into that gratitude practice and that focus. And again, we have been such focused on external. And, by design, this year's coming in with still the focus on internal. It's flexing that muscle for us, right? It's teaching us this lesson on a deeper level. There are really loud challenges right now. You are equipped. You have this. Right? You have this. You have the tools. We have the community here. We can reach out. We can ask for prayers. We can band together. We can ask our divine team for help. We can send our angels to the areas in the world that need them. There's so much that we can do. We are so much more powerful than you think. And if we are this powerful, if what we think matters and what we think manifests, then let's choose to think things that are actually going to be helpful. Let's choose to focus our energy in these positive ways, because focusing on the negative and the fear is only going to create more negativity and more fear. Okay. And so, yes, we are powerful, amazing beings. Let's be responsible with that. Let's use that to our best of our ability to help bring light and love. Let's be extra kind to our neighbors. Let's make sure that we're reaching out and saying hello. Everyone is feeling disconnected. Everyone is feeling lonely. I have had so many conversations with adults that have the vibe of, I just didn't expect adulthood to be so lonely. We need to be checking in on our inner circles. We need to be checking in on our neighbors. We need to be doing our bit, which is just right here. Your life is more significant than you realize. Your impact, your kindness is more impactful and goes further than your brain can understand. Okay, we can't comprehend it. Right? Even if we try, I don't think that we really get it. And so just take it upon yourself to be that light. And if we're waking up and we have a little light, let's share a little light. And if we're feeling a little dimmed, hopefully someone's sharing their light with you. And that's how we're going to get through this. But being mindful of going, oh, I'm in the rabbit hole. Oh, that accidentally caught me off guard on my social media feed, and now I'm down in the trenches. Let me clean that up. Let me put in some words in my filter so that this doesn't show up in my feed. Let me block these accounts so it's not showing up. Let me change directions of conversations when the fear starts to fester. Let's combat that with gratitude and love, because that's Us doing our little bit is what's going to help the entire world. And again, it's really hard for our brains to comprehend that. Okay? But we matter so much more than we give ourselves credit for. Okay? And I think that we need to hold ourselves accountable. We need to hold ourselves to that standard. If what you think is affecting the world, would you even be telling the world what you think? Right? Let's change those thoughts. Let's move them into alignment and watch how everything starts to feel different and look different. Okay? Goodness will win. Goodness is there. Light is there. Love is there. Let's us be the beacon and bring that into our day-to-day life and bring that into our family or our workspace. And this is not telling people how to think. This is bringing joy, bringing love, bringing thoughtfulness, bringing laughter, being that light. Live by example. All right. Spirit was powerful this week. I hope that you have a wonderful week. I hope that you're staying warm and dry. And I will see you next Monday for your weekly guidance.